expect that we're going to see Robert because I haven't heard anything from him. But we do have a quorum, so we're going to move forward and welcome Denise to her first board meeting.
Hello, Denise.
Lovely. And of course, Gina is a regular.
Are you on the board?
No.
Oh.
I just told her to sit at the table.
Please do, yes.
I mean, isn't everybody invited anyway?
Yeah, I was just hoping. I was just hoping.
Possibly.
Awesome.
Right.
There's an election
Awesome.
coming up at
Yeah.
the associates meeting at their meeting in December, so
That's
that would be great.
Have your letter of candidacy ready.
Yeah. No, she doesn't need it for the
Oh.
associates.
Oh, that's right.
They can vote,
Someone can
right there on
nominate
the
you.
spot. Yeah. You can
Can I
even
nominate?
nominate yourself. Anyway, meeting called to order at 7:07. And I don't believe we need introductions, so we'll go ahead. Anybody have any public comment, Denise?
It's nice to be here. For my first WEFT board meeting.
Okay.
No, I
And
made
it's about
7
time.
copies. Did you get one of them?
Yeah, and just to let you know, Gina, Andy is broadcasting the meeting, audio only via the web.
Oh.
Just so you know, and it's being recorded, so.
Keep
Just have a
it
written report.
Yeah,
language.
it does, yeah. It doesn't really matter.
It's just so that you
Gina,
know
did you
it's
have
recorded.
anything that you
Yeah.
wanted to talk about that's not on the agenda?
Nope, nothing really, except I wanted to thank Andy for all your hard work with all the archiving.
Oh, thank you.
That website and all the information you sent out was pretty awesome, so thanks.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Very good. All right, moving on. We need to approve the agenda. I do have a request to add a short closed session at the end of the meeting, so that would be under, right before adjournment. So making closed session number 13, no, making closed session number 12, and then making adjournment number 13.
I'll move to approve. I'll second.
I do have a new idea for fundraising, if we can add a new fundraising conversation,
Sure.
11E maybe?
And the closed session with Laney present, if I can
Yes.
amend to that.
If that's okay. And just up front, I need to be out of here by 10 till 9 at the latest. Both of us do.
I second that.
So just if we don't get all the way through the agenda, then we'll have to start prioritizing toward the end, because this is a absolute, we gotta get out. And I gotta pick up my daughter.
And she's also my lift.
Yeah, and I'm also his lip. So there you go. You don't, I mean, you can go anytime as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so those, any other additions?
Okay, I'll still move it.
Still move it. Mark moves the amended agenda.
Second.
And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You don't get to vote.
Okay.
She's just jumping right here. You gotta love it. Okay. All right, and now we've got 3 sets of minutes from the last meeting, in October, which I think is the next set that you have there. And then we've got open session from September and closed session from September. So let's do them one at a time and look at the October 24th, 2016 meeting minutes first. And I will need a motion to approve.
I looked over that one and it seemed accurate to me, so I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay,
I'll second that.
second by Andrew. Any other discussion? Any changes needed? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, moving on to open session minutes for September 27th. And I need a motion and a second for that.
For September 27th, I thought that was one I was.
That was when you were gone. Or wait, no.
Right, I
Mark was
thought
gone
I
and
was
Al was gone. You were gone in
October. I thought that was.
Oh.
I thought you were asking for the
About that
September one.
Oh, okay.
That's
Well,
what, anyway.
that's all right.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it seems accurate to you because you weren't there. Okay. All right, so who
That was a
Barb?
Yeah.
Barb motion, second by
I'll do it.
Andrew. Any other, any changes necessary there? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. Moving on to closed session meeting minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, this is going quickly. All right, very good.
I'm sorry, I have a quick question.
Yes.
What is the difference, or what's an open and a closed session?
Open session is a public session like we're doing now that's being broadcast over the web, and everything that we talk about here is public knowledge. So we have closed sessions if we're talking about specific air shifters, staff,
Okay, got
people who, you know,
Yes,
that we want to keep that private.
yes. Kind of like on the PC committee, like you do the thing beforehand, and when you do the
vote.
approval or the
Right.
vote afterward. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
exactly.
Yes, all
Yeah.
right, thank you.
So you're not, you know, violating
Yes,
people's privacy.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, next thing on the agenda is board chair executive committee report. I really don't have anything to respond to, tell you because I put it all in the agenda. So we'll just put it there. The rest of the executive committee have anything to?
Just that since the last meeting, we did meet and, wasn't that when we met and decided to hire Brian?
Yeah, well, we essentially told Lady to hire.
Right, but we
So
did go
He
over
has
the-
been hired.
Right,
Yay!
And so
Can I say
that's
that?
going well, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Anything else?
no.
No? Okay. Treasurer's report.
Okay, so, in front of you, you have the profit and loss, October 15 through September 16, so that's year-to-date last year, and I didn't give that last month because I wasn't here, but this is our year-to-date end-of-year report, which shows, in essence, on page 3, that we lost $16,938 last year. That was our net loss last year, and, I don't have much to say about that. I mean, we can look at where, you know, what happened. You can look at your fundraisers. That's what happened, is that we had a total of $47,000 in pledge drives, $12,000 in other donations, other fundraisers. It'll be broken apart better next year, I feel like. Well, we've got a better handle on breaking it down by which appeal letter and all of that, but this is definitely broken down right according to pledge drives, fundraisers, and underwriting. So, you know, our hope next year is that the underwriting goes up a lot and the pledge drives at least stay the same. And that's kind of what we're banking on for next year with what we put in the budget, which just as part of my treasurer's report, I'll say that next month I'll have a detailed budget. I put it all in QuickBooks so that, you know, what we proposed, which was on a spreadsheet, I put it all into QuickBooks and I got pretty far with it, but I needed to, instead of having thing like if we had, let's just say $1,000 for the insurance, I just divided everything by 12 months because I didn't know which month it went into, and I actually want to try to get it into the right months, the big bills that we have. So I'll have that next month, and then every month thereafter I should be able to easily produce a report that shows where we are on target with our budget.
As far as fundraisers, did the concert on the 26th of November happen?
26th of November.
It said,
The races one?
yeah,
Not
That's
races,
just
it's
September.
it was,
That was
That was October, right?
That was
What month are
October.
we in?
okay.
September. That was September.
The one that was planned for November
That's
26th.
mine.
Oh, that was, we moved it to January.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
Well,
we're hoping
yeah.
January.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
still
waiting
waiting
for
to hear,
confirmation.
to hear
Okay.
confirmation from the
Okay,
band.
so to go on with that, so that was the profit and loss, and then there's a balance sheet as of September 30th. So there's a balance sheet for fiscal year ending 2016, September 2016 there, which shows that bottom line, if you look at the back page of that, page 2, that our total assets is $98,381. That includes depreciation things that I don't know much about. I'm just taking our word for it that that's the way we've depreciated them all along. You know, I brought the information over from the previous accounting software, and that's how it comes out. I guess the close thing that we'll want to be keeping an eye on is the amount that we have that in total checking and savings, which maybe by next time I'll also just try to compare that to a year ago and see what it was a year ago. See if we can maybe find our old board reports from the last treasurer's report.
Yeah, and I'm hoping for a good return on the new letter
Yeah.
that just went out.
Yeah, me too. We need to promote it on air.
Yeah, I have.
So we'll have to go on. Okay. So the next thing then is just our current year to date, which is simply October's reports. The profit and loss for October, net income minus 1,156. Our bet, because of course we didn't have any fundraisers to speak of during October. I'm not sure where the pledge drive money came from. But we have to remember also that this is an accrual system. And that means that these are monies that people have promised us, and if they don't come in, then we have to write them off, so.
Yeah, and I see under pledges receivable, it says 9774.
Where does it say that? What page of
It's
what?
on the page, well, it says page 1, it's the last page in your handout.
Okay.
You're on
That is
the
receivable,
balance
okay.
I'm on the balance sheet.
Mm-hmm. So, anything you can think of about that pledges receivable being 9,774?
Seems awfully high. I mean, we had, but we just had pledge drive in September. So it just seems like typically that number has been right around 2,000 to 2,500.
I don't know if it is receivable.
It means you put it in and you've invoiced for it, but we haven't got it yet.
Oh.
So you have to make sure that when
Yeah.
you are receiving money,
I always put
if,
it as a payment received, like if they've made a pledge. So I've always put it in like they paid their invoice.
okay,
off,
well
so-
then we need to see a detailed list of who owes us $9,774 yet, make sure that they
Yeah.
get a special letter.
Yeah.
Or maybe even a special call.
We sent out the first
Yeah,
invoice, we've sent out a second one, so I guess we could do just a third follow-up call.
Well, why don't you at least give Vicki and I a list of it so we can
Okay.
develop a strategy with you on that.
Okay, okay,
That would be an action item.
okay.
Okay.
jumping right on that. Go ahead.
Lainey, give Sandra and Vicki a pledge receivable report so we can create a strategy for that.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay, I just have one comment on the database system when I was writing the letter. Donor Snap is awful.
Terrible.
It is the most, it
I
took
hate
me 4 long days to come up with a mailing list, and then a printed run. So thank you Lynn, for saving my ass there. But it was, there's no way of exporting the entire list, and so I am not happy
Oh dear.
with Donor Snap at all.
So, when I went through the Give Big webinars, the one you and I went through, they talked a lot about the system they use, and Sandra and I talked about it a little bit. Like they have their own system for running payments or donor software. And so we're registered for it because of Give Big for that one campaign. We could look into maybe expanding it if we liked it.
Yeah, I
Well,
guess
the
it-
good thing about it is that, you know, it's all exportable. So everything in Donor Snap is exportable. So
if you have 4 days.
well, all I'm saying is it's not like we're gonna have to re-enter it in whatever system we decide works better, if somebody can figure out a better system
I
to
think
use.
if it works well and it's a usable system, maybe it wouldn't need to be exported. You know, if you could build your parameters, save your spreadsheet or whatever in it, maybe you wouldn't really need to export if you could just print.
Well, when it was exported from FileMaker Pro into Donor Snap, everything that was exported, or much of what was exported, came out as the last donation being made on February 26th of 2016. And that was not accurate.
Right.
What that did to us was it gave us on paper that we had 3,500 recent donors.
Right.
And so you can't search on it and find out really who is a recent donor. It's all, the dates are, and I think it was from that original transfer over, which, you know, you wouldn't have known unless, you know, you went through.
No, but what did we do about it for this mailing?
Well, what I did is I went back to March 1st, which is after that, you know,
Yeah.
the transfer was made. Took down, I sorted through and got recent donors from March 1st through the end of November. Anybody who contributed during that time period, I put on the list, and then I went back again and took the highest donors for whatever period of time that still had valid addresses, and took probably, I'm thinking it was like 600 of those of the higher donors over that period and added them to the mailing list. So we had a total of 1,000.
So is your advice to get rid of DonorSnap and use something else? Because DonorSnap is hard to use?
Well, I wouldn't even say that it's hard to use. I would say it's not giving us what we need. And maybe it can.
Right, maybe it's not an issue of whether it can or not, it's that it didn't have the right information in it.
Yeah, and that may be, and maybe it's worth having, you know, letting Brian take it on and learn about it.
So Brian and I
figure it
have
out.
watched we have watched so many tutorials, and we've even gone outside DonorSnap for tutorials onto YouTube and Googling. I mean, every action in it is like, you know, it's a tough action. Even entering somebody into it is not.
Okay.
So,
well, it sounds like
it'd be
you just
interesting
need to find a solution
Yeah.
that's an alternative.
Okay.
And then when you do, I think we should really look at we have all those records of dates and we have them somewhere.
We have them in FileMaker Pro.
Yeah, exactly.
So the ones that were transferred over, it would be a matter of going back and correcting
Right.
3,500 entries.
Right.
That's going to take some time. And the other part of DonorSnap is, and this I'm sure happened, this was prior to the transfer, is that there are so many entries in DonorSnap that the names aren't capitalized,
Right.
the streets aren't capitalized.
That's for sure.
I corrected all that on the labels, but I wasn't going to go back and do that whole database.
Right, it's a mess.
Yeah.
So I guess go ahead, Mark.
Well, no, I just want to go back to this, when the pledge drive receivable report, when, I need a date when that's going to
Oh, when do
happen.
you want it?
That's all,
Um,
just for the action.
Like just next meeting, the next couple weeks, tomorrow?
Yeah.
yeah, by the end of the week, I'd say. I mean, it's just a simple matter of doing
Yeah.
a report out of
Yeah.
QuickBooks.
So 1 week from today, we'll say. No? Yeah? Good?
The last thing I wanted to talk about is the 990.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have our 990 done by March 15th because that's a requirement of the IRS for nonprofits. And Sandra, just to let you know, maybe we need to vote on this and maybe you don't, but Sandra's planning on getting a quote from the account that we've been using, and we just got contacted today by the account that's been doing our 990 over the last few years. So I think the plan is you're going to get prices from both.
Well, it wasn't my plan to get prices from the other person who we used to, but I can. But when Jason gave us his quote to be our CPA and to work with us to get everything right in QuickBooks, and he has been working closely with us and knows our books, his quote included doing that. And it was $600 maximum. So,
Okay.
and
I think that's probably in line with what we've paid before.
Okay, good.
So, yeah.
And he will charge us less if it takes less hours, and he thinks it's pretty clean, so.
Jason and I have also talked about potentially doing some underwriting exchange, so maybe we can look at that sooner.
Good.
Okay, good. All right, so if the board is okay with that, we'll let Sandra move forward on it, and I will contact, what's her name from
Martin.
But we do need to look for our previous tax returns.
Oh, I've got that.
You've got all those.
I've got a couple of them. I don't know if I've got all of them.
we need to get them on.
They should be in a box.
Well, we need to get them
upstairs.
scanned and onto a line on Smartsheet where all of our, when we're trying to.
Okay, well, I can put a couple of them on there, so put an action item down for me to send Sandra the 990s that I have, which I
Yes.
think is only 2. Might be more than that, but it's only since I've been board chair that I've gotten copies of them.
Okay.
Yeah, just to say, as part of my official report, that Lainey worked super, super hard. I do want to say that, on reclassifying all of our donors, all of our donations in QuickBooks, so that they are classified correctly going forward. Anyway, it was a huge job, it was a mess. It was a terrible mess.
Well, thank you.
And it took a lot of brain power for both of us to figure out what needed to be done and to really make the list and then and match them up and cross-reference them. It was a giant job that we kept thinking was done, and then it wasn't. Until now, it really is.
Well, you guys are really encouraging because I never understood this before. Now I sort of understand it. And there's no way in hell I'd ever want to do it. So
It's
you guys
a learning curve
deserve,
for a lot of people.
yeah,
isn't it?
you guys deserve all the praise that you get for that.
Okay, so let's get we need a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
So moved.
Barb, and
I'll say.
of course you will, Andrew, thank you. Any other questions or conversation on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, reports. You have Lainey's report in the packet, and Gina sent the last minutes from the PC, which I forwarded to you late this afternoon. I didn't have an opportunity to print them out, so Gina, if you want to just give us a couple of highlights, that would be appreciated.
Sure, and you have minutes for the last 3 PC meetings, the one that was the day after the last board meeting, and then the day after the election, and then last week. So we've got 3 new shows over the last month and a half-ish. Brian proposed for a show where he's playing cassettes, which is really an interesting kind of thing. Yeah, so that was approved. We also approved a new show that just started this past Friday, Bob Allred, From Heartbreak to Hate, which is
He
kind of
is really getting into it too.
Yeah. I looked at his playlist, it was pretty good.
And that's more women's music.
Yeah.
It's a great time.
He has prepped I think 30,000 songs already. We're like,
Yeah.
he's so into it.
Yeah.
His face
And
looks
then
scary.
we also approved the Morning Menu Collective on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays. And so that's been going really well. And the Morning Menu Collective has also been producing a new show that we've been playing on Saturdays since we have the 11 to 1 o'clock hour open. So we played that the last 2 weeks we played it at 11 o'clock. The week before we played it at noon. And then we played the labor hour for the other hour. So I think that the 10 to 11 transition works better, going from Paul to Progressive News. So we'll probably keep it at that for now. Progressive News is also playing Monday nights while Paul is on hiatus for Friday Forum.
Right.
So it actually played tonight. We've had pretty good attendance at the meetings as far as the members showing up, which has been nice. We've had a quorum.
Has Robert been showing up?
Robert was there last week, this past week. Yep. We've got a lot of things going on. We actually approved the air shifter standard operating procedure that I sent out on WEFT BoD for people to talk about, comment on, send their reviews. I've heard no feedback as of yet. There's also a couple of copies of it posted in the station in case people want to mark it up by hand and just stick it in the PC box or whatever. I was hoping to get some feedback so we could maybe talk about it at the associates meeting next week. So I'd like to try to get that on the agenda if we can, so we can either get that, because the PC's approved it. If everybody's good with it, I'd like to see if we can get it approved through the associates meeting and then bring it to the board for approval so that we could have another SOP on the
Then
books.
it can be in a folder in the booth.
Yep,
I'll put it up on the website too.
right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah,
yeah.
that'd be great.
Yep, let's see, what else have we been working on? Barb's been working on updating the day sheets so that those are a little bit more in touch with what's actually happening, making sure that, the drop-ins are listed where they should be, that the underwriting is correct. So thanks for taking that task on, Barb.
And it's kind of confusing because things have changed. We've lost underwriting, we've got underwriting, now, did we lose Black Lives Matter?
No.
I mean, is it gonna
We'll
be,
email you.
It was a collective, so there are a couple of other people who are gonna, I think, do it,
They're
but
just having some recording issues,
Yeah.
so we're doing a training, they're recording in the studio for the time being, but
Okay.
we're
Yeah.
preparing it tomorrow.
Good.
okay.
We also, Rich complained about Deutsche Welle News, they changed their format a
Yes,
little bit.
I don't like it.
And he wasn't happy with it, but then at the meeting this past week, he said, well, I guess it wasn't so bad, but it does sound kind of funky. So we're looking for an alternative. The only thing I've found so far that's free is Voices of America, but that's kind of slanted, towards the American point of view.
I played, the 15-minute version at 6:45, so, I'm getting in to play at 7, and you gotta be there 15 minutes early, it's really easy to put it on, so that might be an alternative, is to do Deutsche Welle at 6:45, it's a 15-minute instead of the 3-minute, and it's a pretty good newscast.
I like them, it's just
I do
that
too.
3-minute thing is kind of funky,
Yeah,
especially with the
it's
new
really-
noise.
I know.
and then maybe
just
just
sounds
do
funky.
it once or do it a couple of times?
I'd say do it once, right,
Do
because
it,
we were doing 3:55
I don't know,
minutes.
you may
Yeah.
wanna just contact Deutsche Welle and say, hey, look,
Yeah.
we were thinking about dropping this because the quality's bad.
Mhm.
yeah, and we
You
still
know.
need to figure out what to do in the afternoon, cause
It's so outdated.
Right,
By the time
by
it was
that
free.
point, right.
I don't think it is, personally.
Really?
I mean, it's world news, it's not
Yeah.
gonna get outdated in 4
Well, I think they
hours.
say it's like,
Well, it's from the night before though, by the time it
Yeah.
gets the next
From-
afternoon.
It's from that morning,
Right,
overnight.
right,
They're-
right. Well, it's something that we're still talking
Yeah.
about and looking at.
And just, I know, I didn't look at it either, but Al Jazeera would be one to look at too.
Okay.
That's a
A lot of
possibility.
their programs, like, repeat within 24 hours of itself.
I'll look at that too, Sam. Thank you for that input.
Okay.
And I'm just, National Native News.
Mhm.
Have you
Yeah.
looked at that, or have you been
Yeah.
able to talk to them?
no, so I was gonna talk about today.
Okay,
Now.
we can talk about it later if it's on your agenda. People have been having a hard time pulling up the podcasts.
Like,
Yeah, even
From
after we
SoundCloud?
spoke,
oh,
directly from the website. That's where we
Okay.
usually play it from. And we're also looking at, just kind of, not holding people's feet to the fire, but making sure that we're following procedures and policies, and that's part of the air shifter standard operating procedure thing. And I guess that's plenty, thanks.
Okay. All right, you've got Laney's report, pretty extensive report here. You have anything you wanted to add, Laney?
I don't think so. Well, I guess quickly, I did talk with, Ursula at NFCB, I think that's where she's from. Just talking about how we're doing like a lower, hardship waiver for our fees and things like that. Talked to National Native News about doing continuing our hardship waiver with them. It's supposed to be like, I think, $800, but, they said they would go ahead and just continue it, that they want us to play it so badly. If they have anything for us to donate, please do, but, so we did that. I had an interview tonight with a new intern. We've looked into, we have not passed deadlines for spring internships, so we're posting those. We sent some of those over today. We're also going to do some postings on UVI campus and Parkland campus, closer to around finals or beginning of spring semester, so January.
Okay, any questions for Laney? Alrighty then, let's move on to the next. I apologize for not getting a request out to all the board chairs to send reports. It was a holiday and I got wrapped up in family stuff, so I didn't get it done. I'm pretty sure all the board chairs were, or the committee chairs were busy doing the same, so apologies all around. New business, moving on to political candidate status at WEFT. We've had a couple of people who are running for office, and so it seemed a good opportunity to clarify the rules, and WEFT The WEFT board does not have any specific rules on that, but we do have FCC rules and regulations, this lovely binder that Mark has in front of him. So he's going to just go over the pertinent information here, and we can let any air shifter know that if they would like to have this information emailed to them, I have a lovely PDF. A 278-page PDF that I can email them and they can delve into it to their heart's content. So, go ahead, Mark.
Okay, so first of all, to be a candidate, you have to meet 3 criteria. Let's see.
We are talking about someone that happens to work at WEFT that is running for a public
Yes.
position
Right.
outside of
Right.
WEFT.
Yes,
So we have one
Publicly
candidate that's
elected
running
office.
for mayor in Urbana.
Okay,
We have
yeah.
somebody who's running for a
Oh.
city council seat.
Yeah.
Well, we can't, that's public information. Evelyn Underwood.
Evelyn
Underwood.
Underwood.
Is
For mayor of
running for mayor of Urbana, and Aaron
Hey,
Ammons,
Denise.
I believe, is running for a city council seat.
Yeah, that had not been announced as of yet, but today was the last day for them to get their.
So we'll know
paperwork.
soon
Right,
enough.
Right.
Oh my God.
And historically.
Sorry.
So,
I live in Urbana, anyway.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, I
It's
love
all
Urbana,
good,
but
it's all good.
it's all
All good.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So to be a legally qualified candidate, you have to meet like 3 criteria, and that is you have to be of legal age. I mean, you know, okay, yeah,
Like the way it's
legal
35
age.
president.
You have to announce your candidacy, and you have to demonstrate that you are serious about being elected. Okay,
So I guess that's why Rob probably never got pulled from the mayor. He ran for president.
Rob.
You remember that? No,
Chef Rob.
Yeah, he was actually on the ballot in several states.
And a
But not here,
Not
not
Illinois.
How cute is that?
Awesome.
Okay, so, whenever a legally qualified candidate makes use of a broadcast station in a non-exempt program, which, that's what we have, that station must afford all opposing candidates equal opportunities to air programming that reaches a comparable audience size. So that means you can't say, if you're running and your show's at 2 o'clock on Thursday afternoon and you're running, we'll put you in at 4 a.m. Can't do that. Doesn't work.
But read the first part of it again.
Whenever a legally qualified candidate makes use of a broadcast station in a non-exempt program.
And does it describe non-exempt
It does,
program?
yes. Okay. Let's see, exempt programs are bona fide newscast, news interviews, news documentaries, and on-the-spot coverage of news events that are exempt from equal opportunities. If you're just doing the news and, Barack Obama
Unbiased news.
says something,
Yeah,
that's okay. So, they take into account whether the program in question is regularly scheduled, how long and how often the program has been on the station's schedule, whether station staff produce or control program content in whole or in part, as to programming produced by an outside source, whether the program is intended to advance the candidacy of a particular person, and whether the candidate or topic is newsworthy. Okay, and the station cannot take a position on supporting or opposing any candidate.
Or any ballot
Individuals,
question.
right, exactly. Individuals may do that. The station as a whole cannot. That's fine.
So should I be careful about what I would say then? As like a staff member, if I'm not on the air, but if somebody came in
No.
and talked to me?
No,
Okay.
because
No.
you don't speak for the station.
Right, so like.
That's
we
why
didn't
you
want-
read that disclaimer.
Right.
But you would read the disclaimer, she
Right,
was sitting in the
conversation.
office.
This is all about what goes over the
Oh,
air.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
about what we put on Facebook and stuff? Should we not put?
No,
I would just hear-
FCC does not control anything about Facebook.
Not yet, anyway.
Or the web.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
right.
Yeah,
yeah.
Clarify.
But to look to appear above boards, I would think that we probably wouldn't want to put anything
No.
overtly political on any of our social media.
I would agree with that.
Okay.
Well, unless we made it perhaps equal.
Right.
Like,
Oh, yeah,
as
yeah.
far
I
as,
agree.
if we're saying like everyone's talking, giving their talk here, then we may want to
Sure.
include where the other people might be
Right.
talking to.
Okay.
Right.
Or
Then,
something.
then it's kind of like a newscast.
Yeah,
That's
well, we
what
do
we-
definitely do an event.
Or a
announcement.
debate could be, you know, that would be an exempt
That would be.
show.
They
Exempt
by
use.
Facebook tag, oh boy.
But, okay, anything
So-
else we should know?
Yeah, so they give an example in here. Suppose a DJ becomes a legally qualified candidate for public office. Can the DJ continue to work at the station? Yes, but each broadcast of the DJ candidate's voice will be a use, even if the DJ does not talk about his candidacy or discuss political issues. The opponents of the candidate would be entitled to demand equal opportunities based on the amount of time the DJ is on the air. There have been instances where opposing candidates have waived their right to equal opportunities based on a DJ or candidate's use, but opposing candidates are under no obligation to sign such waivers.
Okay, so we could ask Evelyn to get a, to have them sign a waiver. And since Aaron doesn't have any opponents, if he doesn't have any opponents, then there isn't any issue.
In the, oh, yeah.
Yeah, but
If
that
there's
was,
nobody in the primary, we don't know if there'll be
Right.
anybody running against him.
We
in
don't.
general.
So it's the primary that's in February?
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, but that was a
Okay.
question back a while back when, with Higher Ground and Carol.
Well, Carol definitely stepped back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then one other thing, just for us and Laney mainly, refers to the public file. And that is, a station must keep a political file as part of the public file, you know, for 2 years, and you have to keep the following records. A record of all requests for broadcast time made by or on behalf of candidates, a record of our response to that, either positive or negative, to those requests, and a record of any use. So we would have to keep records of Evelyn's use in the public file, I guess, if we would let her
Oh, yeah.
continue
Uh-huh.
on here.
So what I'm hearing then is, and correct me if I'm wrong, is if Evelyn gets signatures from the other 2 mayoral candidates that say, we will waive our right to equal time on WEFT, that she would be covered and she would be able to continue having her show.
But if they want a show, say they say, no, I don't want to sign that, I want time, do they go through air shifter training? Do we have, can they come
No,
in?
Evelyn just gets taken off the air.
Oh.
That's what I would say.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what I basically explained to her today. As far as I understand it, you will have to take a leave of absence from your show until after the election. Once the election occurs and she's not a candidate anymore, she can be on the air again.
Unless she gets elected, in which case that's a different thing.
Yeah, she can be on the air.
She
then.
can be on the air.
It's
She just
only
can't be on
during
when
the
she's a candidate.
campaign
Okay.
time.
Okay.
But can she be behind the scenes still there?
Oh,
She
sure.
doesn't-
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. She doesn't have to give up her show for.
No, I
for a
said
while.
you can get
Just-
somebody else to host the show, you
Okay.
can help with it,
Okay.
you just can't have your voice on the air.
Oh, okay. Good. Okay.
So that's kind of where we are, and I will, as I said, I will make this available to anybody who wants a copy of it.
So Evelyn, you've had this discussion?
I had it with her this afternoon,
Okay.
and I can, or Gina, if you want to talk with her about a waiver,
I sure will.
then, you know, that might be a solution.
If she wants to approach them with it, we should write the waiver, not her.
Yeah.
So if she opts to try to get them to have a waiver, then we should write the waiver, not her.
And also, what about her being on programming committee? Is that okay? Should
Yeah.
she not?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
that's,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because she's not on the air.
right.
Okay. Even though she's like helping me.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
not,
I think it's
it's
supposed to be
all
like-
about airtime.
Basically, so the
Okay.
candidates can't try to convince people with their voice, like,
Yep.
like
Right.
their side of things. Can't
Oh,
like,
okay.
yeah.
Okay,
Publicity.
Yeah.
so I don't think there's any vote required on this. This was just kind of an informational kind of discussion. So unless there's more on that, we'll move on to the next agenda item, which is WEFT branding. This is a pretty quick one. Mark and I had a conversation after listening to, what was it, the new Green Day album. Yeah.
Oh, Green Day.
We're going to see him in March.
I am too.
February, so, yeah. Anyway, their new album is called Revolution Radio. And I thought, I would think revolutionary radio might be a good thing, a good brand for WEFT.
Especially for the pledge drive coming up.
Especially for the pledge drive. I mean, maybe we just make it for the pledge drive.
Yeah.
And if people like it, we could consider making that a brand instead of, switching over from Listen Local, which is great, but hasn't been doing us much good.
It's
Try
kind
it
of
as one
boring.
shot and see if
Listen
it
local's
lasts.
kind of boring. I mean,
Well,
just personally, I think that's
yeah.
boring. Like revolutionary
Several years
radio.
ago, we
Yeah.
had with the black T-shirt that was very simple, the
Real-
People's Radio or something.
Real radio,
Real
talk,
radio, yeah.
music or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anybody have any thoughts on that? I mean, it did just, I texted Sandra and let her know, but I just kind of dropped it all on the rest of you. So do you have thoughts on it?
I like it so far.
Yeah.
So far? There's not much to it, really.
I like this current slogan, and my show is civil disobedience, right? So
Yeah, that's
obviously,
right.
I'm down with the sentiments there.
Making waves.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing that I was thinking too is that we could also think about, in this time of revolution and needed revolution, and political unrest, we could think about, becoming a coalition builder. So, like we support, we're not the INC, we're not, PetNet, I don't know, but we are, but we're something to all of these, and to really help
Yes.
people recognize that we're a foundation,
Yes.
a foundational support for revolution, for when the revolution, So, could we also sort of look at our whole statement, our whole mission, and see how revolution can go in there along with coalition building? So,
Well, it's revolutionary. I wouldn't use the word revolution. Revolution is a record album. Revolution Radio is a copyrighted
Green Day.
Day
Yeah.
album. So, but Revolutionary Radio, I checked, it, as far as I can tell, is not. There is a Christian radio show somewhere in the country that's called Revolutionary Radio.
But if we're saying, revolutionary radio, we're a part of the revolution, we're part of the, part of the coalition with others and.
But that only part of it. I think the other the other interpretation that I have in my head with this is that the music that we play is also revolutionary not because we're fighting for something, but just because it's so different.
Yes.
It's,
Right.
it's unique.
It's not the norm.
It's not the norm, exactly.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, I mean, copyright is usually, as long as you're 10% different, you're okay, right? And if you just went by the letters, we're fine.
Yeah,
Well,
and nobody copyrights the name of their radio show, so.
And we've,
That we know of.
we've
Yeah.
bordered on that anyway with, we had a T-shirt where, when Apple came out and said,
Listen different.
think different, we did listen different.
Yeah. And we have been kicking around that it might be a good idea for the board and the programming committee and maybe the other committees to get together as a group and talk about the way WEFT is changing so that more people are on board with the way WEFT is changing, or at least that they understand the way WEFT is changing.
how is
Because-
what changing?
WEFT is changing in a lot of ways. We're going to lose Stan Wagner's show.
But that's his own
But,
personal.
yeah,
thing.
but no,
Most
that's-
people all the time.
But that was just an example that WEFT is changing. We're becoming more socially and culturally active than we have been in a
Which
long.
is great, and it
And
meets our
it's
mission.
great.
I mean,
That's
that gets
our
us close.
mission, like we're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And so we want people to buy in a little more rather than saying, okay, we're gonna just keep doing the same old stuff. We want people to be positive about the changes at WEF.
I agree, I think most people are.
Yeah, we need
Yeah, I
more
think-
Bob Allreds, you know, we need
Yeah.
the folks here who are fired up and they wanna come in and really,
But I think
do a
it's
good
important
job.
to realize
There are a lot
that
of
they're
people
part
who-
of this. It's
yeah.
always gonna be evolving. I think sometimes people get used to it and they don't want not to change sort of.
Right.
But
And
it's
there are
always going to
people-
change.
Yeah, and
Because
there are people who are not
life is
happy.
moving.
And
People
if we
come
could
and
get
go,
them
they have to
happy
do
and get them
things.
to buy in, it
So-
would be better.
Yeah, I think, you know, getting more of the buy-in to explain how they're actually already part of it,
Your
instead
point
of
is,
buy in or leave. Kind
Yeah.
of like, this is what's going on, here's all these places you can help. We're fulfilling the mission better, which is the same thing you signed on for. It's the same, but a
Yeah.
bit different, just revolving.
sure,
So
we
we-
got, go ahead.
So we've been trying that like in WWE, but do you think at like the associates meeting, do we have like a small like presentation or a moment like, hey guys, you know, this is what we're doing, like we hope you're supporting it, like, or when do you think like, you can't, I don't know,
Well, I
it's
think
hard to get messages to people.
it is,
know?
but it's
Yeah.
also easier when you work in like smaller groups. Like if it was the board and the committees, that's a selected group of people. And then if it's the associates who actually sometimes want to talk about stuff without the board, it's a different group of
Yeah,
people.
but
And
honestly, this is not a topic on the agenda.
no, it's not, but
So
I
I
just
think-
wanted to throw it out so we can start thinking about doing it.
Yeah, I recognize that, you know, things change and people leave and new people come and that's just the nature
Yeah.
of
But
WEF.
there are people who, because they don't do anything at WEF besides their shows, don't understand the changes.
Sure, yeah.
Right.
Well, those people aren't supposed to be doing their shows if they're just doing their show.
Well, that's true.
Well, that may be, but,
Work on
but
that.
still, sometimes you'll get in little ruts and
Okay,
realize
moving
it.
on. Tracking of members. Andy, this is your topic from last month that we never got to.
Oh, I was just saying, I wish it'd be nice if we could, because I would know when I needed to pay, and I would know, like, it'd be nice if we had a list that members could check on that too, so that they could update themselves and
I
like.
agree.
So
So
then you have to go to ask someone about it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Jean and I have been working out, like getting a full list of everybody who has a show.
Awesome.
So then I can go through our system and say, when's the last time they paid? Are they current? I don't think people are not paying because they mostly don't want to. It's that they don't know or they don't think. Unless I'm told, I don't know. So.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know where I am on that. I feel
Right.
like maybe I owe.
Right. Or
I
something
don't.
like that. So what we
So
would do then
yeah,
is
I
have a
don't
system
want
of,
to owe.
yeah, you know, we would know then who owes. I could send them an invoice or just an email, like, hey, just, you know, put it in their mailbox, which need updated. So we're working on a system through that.
Awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
it'd be much better if it were an automatic system. We don't want to create more work for you.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if we could put them in and just monthly pull out like an invoice, like monthly
Exactly.
invoice report.
So that's,
It doesn't
30 days before your membership expires, you get,
Well, we've
Yeah.
talked about the same thing for underwriting, you know,
yeah, exactly.
pumping out an invoice a month in advance.
I do kind of think, I kind of remember when we looked at that Give Big thing, that system said they could do an automatic reminder.
And that's where we would need people's email addresses.
Right.
Valid email address, so it's, you
Right.
never have to do anything, it just
Right.
goes.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I don't know if this would be more or less work. I mean, if we gave people, I don't know, a login account, I guess we'd need a job description, some PHP and Apache to do this, and so people could update manually.
What? Well, I lost.
Or skip. I'm really
So make like a staff section of the website where people
We
can
It's a
log in.
possibility.
Yeah.
We've talked
Or
about
a
that
member
too.
section.
Yeah, we've
Yes.
talked about that.
Thank you, that's a way
Maybe when
better
we,
way.
maybe when we had a nation builder.
I thought,
Yeah.
When we sat down with Nation Builder, we talked about that, where there was a staff or a volunteer section that they could log in and see when they were up to date. And they'd also be able to access like restricted things, you know,
Yeah.
so we've talked about that too, but that can sit to a website.
and a read-only.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then,
But you wouldn't be able to do that, cause then everybody would know everybody else's business.
No, you
It
don't
was
be
just
able to
your
get your
account.
own,
Oh, well.
You would have an
That's a
account,
lot.
so to speak.
Mhm.
but
Right.
yeah,
We're long.
I guess along the same lines, Vicki and I talked a little bit about adding different fields to Donor Snap, so that we could add in, if you're on a committee, what's your length of service, when does the term expire, all that stuff. So the PC's been talking about that too.
Mhm.
So we're gonna move forward with looking at Donor Snap, getting fields added, so that we can have everything in one place, or whatever database we end up using. So that everything's in one place, so that it's, you don't have to go to this person and say, do you know how long you've been on the PC? I don't know. That's one of the problems we're having now, is that some of the PC members don't even know when they were voted in. And we don't know how long the
they'll
terms
go to
are.
the meeting next week and find out their terms
Exactly,
expired.
and I think that might have been one of the things that happened with Denise and Rich too. I don't think they even knew that their terms expired, and their terms expired, and they weren't on the PC anymore. So that's one of the things that we wanna try to, get into that Donor Snap or whatever database we're using, so we can have everything in one place.
The associates used to do that very well. Every quarterly meeting, you would see it, and it was accurate.
Yeah.
And that's
Well,
kind of
that's gone away
dwindled a
too,
little.
yeah.
Right, yeah. Well, I was, we're hoping to maybe bring that up in the associates meeting next week too.
Good.
Yeah,
Or 2 weeks from now, whenever it is.
okay, anything else on that, Andy, that you wanna?
No, I just thought it would be really helpful, even just for myself, so
Okay.
I can keep track of things.
Yeah, I think it's been needed for a long time, so I'm glad that everyone's kind of thinking about it and figuring out the best way to do it.
We are 50 minutes out.
15 minutes out from
50.
what?
From when you had to leave.
Oh, we're doing
15.
good,
Okay,
we're doing
good.
good. Okay, so on to old business, just the action items from last month's meeting. I just wanted to go through my apologies. I did send the window graphic that Code proposed to WEFTO. I got no comments back on it from anybody. So that's, I don't know where to go with that.
I didn't get it.
You didn't get it?
Uh-uh.
Okay, all right, well, I'll send it again, maybe
So
I,
Gina and I just had this conversation that our listservs are, something has to be going a little funky with them.
okay, all right,
Yeah,
well, I'll
Webco
resend it
seems-
then.
Like Laney sent me an email,
Mhm.
maybe Friday afternoon or Saturday afternoon. I got it Sunday at like 11 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
And I'm having a problem with WEFT. So we need to look at, it looks like everything that's on WEFT has to be monitored, even between members, which to me makes no sense.
Yeah.
So we need to try to figure
yeah,
that out
that's
too.
too crazy. Okay, so then the next thing on the list was to set the exec committee meeting. We did that. We did the winter appeal letter, so that's been taken care of. And then spring pledge drive committee, I sent out a request in the newsletter for people who are interested in participating on the newsletter or the pledge drive committee, and I got nothing. So I'm gonna be asking people individually to participate in that. So that's just the update on that. Then, moving on, then community advisory board update. I've invited 3 or 4 people. I've heard back from only one of those, so I need to follow up and
What's your date on that?
January 30th, I believe. Let me just double check.
Do we have,
Okay.
what's the plan? Do we have invitations?
As soon as we have our list, Annie's roughed out an invitation that I think
Yeah.
will work for us. But we have to have a list of people and addresses, and we want people who have agreed to attend so that we can give them that individual invitation and follow up with a reminder or two. But the meeting is actually scheduled for, no, January 30th is not yet, because it was a Sunday. Was it not a Sunday that we picked, Andy?
I thought I saw it in the notes for the floor
I have it
here.
somewhere.
29th?
It had to be a Sunday afternoon, and I don't have it in this calendar, it's probably on my calendar at home.
January 29th is when I.
January
Yep, I was
29th,
right.
so we have a board meeting the next day after that.
Okay, so if I get you people and addresses, but I have to have talked to them before we send them the invitation? Is that what you?
I would prefer that we talk to them, and because they're going to respond more favorably if they have that personal contact. You know, if you talk to somebody you
Yeah.
know and say, hey, I really want you to be a part of this, we really value your input, all that kind of stuff, it's gonna be helpful. So that is what I would like, and hopefully we have a list of people sooner than our next board meeting, which our next board meeting, by the way, is on January 9th. Or that's our December board meeting, is January 9th. Otherwise, we'd be sitting here the day after Christmas. It's not gonna go well for a lot of people. So we'll keep you posted on that. And if any of you have thoughts on who would be a good person to invite, we would love to get your feedback on that. Yeah.
What is this community advisory board?
The Community Advisory Board is a group of non-WEFTs who come together. They're mostly people who are just involved in the community in other ways to come together and to help us become more connected
Oh, okay.
to what they do and to get their feedback on what they would hope WEFT would offer and do for the community.
Oh, okay.
So we think it could do a lot to help improve what we do.
Okay.
It's also a legal requirement of our license.
Oh,
So it's
sure.
So, 'cause that's why they wanna make sure we're doing the educational license, like they've got
Very
community
good.
feedback on that, but we can also use it to
Of
help us.
course, yeah. Works both, yeah.
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah. So that's just the update
Thank
there. Let's go on and move on to fundraising. Lady, this is gonna be mostly you, I guess, except for the planning for the spring pledge drive. So NFCD,
Yeah.
Give Big to My Station.
Yeah, so Give Big to My Station is, it's a last 2 days of the year fundraising event. It's all online fundraising, so we can text them, or they get onto our website, they just click, they can do it all from their phone. It's meant to be published a lot on our social media, things like that, talked about on air, but, to really, it eliminates the paper. We don't really have any cost going into it at all.
I don't think we have any
No,
costs going into
No,
it.
it'll all just be mostly social media, talking about it on air, so we'll get some readings up for you guys. Give Big, they handle all the processing and all of that, so it just comes to us as checks or direct deposits, so.
And do they have they given us any idea of what they've done this before, and is there an average amount that stations have raised as a result?
I don't know.
They haven't done it before.
They haven't done it, so this is the
Yeah.
first attempt.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
2 days.
I think
doesn't sound
one
like a whole
station
lot.
has done it before, and now they've made it into
with
some,
everybody,
so it's something that's repeatable or
Did so well that they're.
yeah.
But, my question is, how can we get WEFties to repost or even like our Facebook stuff? Like, I mean, seriously, me and Bruce and Brian and you are the only one who like anything that we put out there.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't do Facebook.
Yeah, well, some people do, and they don't bother to do WEFT.
I will like, or I will share something or something, except for a lot of the things they say, you can promote this, but doesn't it cost to promote stuff?
That's only coming up on your screen.
I want to make myself not an administrator of the WEFT Facebook page, because every time I like something, it says WEFT likes. I'm not WEFT.
No, you can easily change that.
Easily maybe not. You have to think about doing it before you click like, and then I don't have time to do that.
I think we just want other WEFties to support WEFT, but yeah, so hopefully we get everybody sharing it on their Facebook. Everybody has one friend that gives $10. We make decent money. That's the goal.
That's the goal.
It's a special
We're
fundraiser
assuming
this
that
year.
we have WEFties that have friends.
The bigger stretch.
Yeah. So hopefully it's a special fundraiser. So hopefully it brings in a little extra money this year.
Well, when is the associates meeting?
December 7th.
Third.
Somebody really
Seven.
needs
I looked
to
it up.
deliver a message to the associates that things that we're not out of the air, we operated $16,000 in the red last year. And if they can't do their part by liking us on social media and figuring out how to announce things on the air that are important.
So, yeah, I had a conversation about a month or two ago with Jeff Machoda, and he had an idea that you guys have done in the past, but take the associates meeting with a packet of like, give out these postcards, this is how you can promote your show, make a Facebook page if you're on Facebook, share WEFT stuff, like, just give them tools in front of them, or draw their attention of how to support WEFT in other ways. Like, if you share your show with this many of your friends and they become members, that's X amount more money for WEFT. So that might be.
Well, maybe let's put together a handout that we can use. Of course, I'm gonna be gone for the next week, but,
Yeah,
and back the day before the associates meeting. But we can do something like that. If you can put together just a few thoughts bullet pointed on a page, and if you have a reading or two for Give Big to My Station, and a letter about, or an announcement about the fundraising letter that just went out. That we can say, here, this is what you can read on the air.
This is how you can help WEFT.
This is how you can help WEFT, absolutely.
That's a good idea.
Let's do that.
Okay.
And maybe put it on the bulletin board, but maybe put it in the PSA box too.
Sure.
Because it's easier to read stuff on these cards rather than pull stuff off the board, put it back up, and
Or pull it off the board and never put it back.
Yeah, those are good ideas. So maybe we could also say every show is important. Just I'll make it nice and fluffy, but say every show is important. Everybody has their own demographic to bring into WEFT, and each of those groups of people can help WEFT. So I think make everybody feel valued and appreciated. I think it'll be a nice sentiment going in.
Yes.
Okay.
As opposed to mine.
Yeah.
That's why I'm lining.
Yeah, we have to bridge.
My softer side. We are a good team.
What are the 2 days?
The last
It is
2 days.
2 days.
So that's the 30th and the 31st.
I think it's
31st?
the 29th and the 30th, because 31st is technically the holiday. Big thing.
Yeah.
29 and 30.
And Lori's working on the website part, so.
Okay, very good.
Maybe
The
we can have
winter appeal
Brian-
letter, we just got ours in the mail on Saturday, so I'm thinking we probably haven't gotten any of those back yet.
Yeah, because I didn't get mine until late.
We got ours Saturday.
Wait, what are we talking about?
The winter appeal
Oh, you
letter.
got it? Okay.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
came
yeah.
on Saturday, so.
I have not gotten mine.
Yeah, and I've
I
got,
haven't gotten mine either.
okay, well, that's donor snap list, I don't know.
I've gotten 5 returns so far.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Cool.
No.
Oh, 5
Okay, planning for spring pledge drive, we're gonna have to set those dates in March. I'll work with Lainey on that, and we'll figure out what dates have the least number of conflicts, though I do believe Easter's in March again. This year, we're not gonna be able to go with holidays necessarily, we're gonna have to go with one we're gonna, and spring break also is an impact for people being gone. So we'll look at those dates and figure out a 2-week period to do pledge drive. Okay? Do you trust the executive committee to do that?
Yes.
All right, then we will do that. Okay. New fundraising.
Oh, so I was trying to think of another small couple things we could do going into holiday season. What about doing a fundraiser with Columbia Street Roastery? We went to the CU Bands and Fans banquet, and they have these nice little coffee bags, like single serve ones almost. They have a WEFT blend already on their files from somebody else did.
It wasn't all that long ago, a few years ago.
But I wondered if we wanted to do that as a holiday season fundraiser. I mean, I would give that as a gift. If, WEFT got some of the proceeds, it says WEFT blend on the wrapper. Is that something we might want to pursue a little? Maybe we might not get a killing, but if we get.
And see, and the last time we did stuff with them with WEFT, it was like selling WEFT coffee, and it was real complicated, but
Yeah, the thing that I would like to think about with that is that when we went to that not-for-profit workshop about fundraising, the idea isn't that we have this kind and a new kind and a new kind of fundraiser. We have to have a signature fundraiser every year, and we have to have repeatable fundraisers. And if you don't, then our staff spends all their time reinventing this wheel, and you spend more time on staff than you do on what money you would make. And even though it's a good idea, I think we need to have you be focusing on underwriting. You know, I think if we get the Soundhouse concerts off the ground and we get our winter appeal letters, our regular appeal letters, and we get our pledge drives, I think we need to think about what is our signature fundraiser going to be, a big one, but not, you know, but I know you have easier ways to do things, you know, I'm not totally poo-pooing it, I'm just saying there's two sides of that.
Right.
And are you gonna have time to do underwriting, because that's what needs to really happen. And could Columbia Rose Tree instead just write us a effing check?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was an issue when we did it previously, it was Rich Cahill, who was the board treasurer at the time. And he would have to take orders, and then he would go over to the roastery and place the order, and then he would have to deliver the bags of coffee to everybody that ordered them. And it was a big job for him to do. I mean, now if we could have some and people could come in and buy them, I mean, that would be another thing, but then that gives you an upfront investment that you may not get back. So, I don't know, it's something.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, anything else on fundraising? Oh, I have one thing. I have been in touch with Al on this concert idea. He's still working on it. He was going to be in touch with this band's agent again on Tuesday last week. I haven't touched base with him since. So it's still a possibility. Apparently when this band did a fundraiser for the Crisis Nursery 5 years ago, they cleared $54,000.
What's the band? Who's the band?
Can't say.
With
Jada Hallmark.
Google is a wonderful
Yeah.
They did the fundraiser for Crisis Nursery 5 years ago.
could we,
That's what I'm Googling right now.
yeah.
So we're not, publicly, we're not,
Yeah.
Al would rather we not say because he has a personal connection.
Since we didn't tweet for the fall pledge drive, and they were on board with doing that campaign, I thought.
But we haven't gotten that yet.
But we did. What I'm
Can't figure out how to work around it.
I was just wondering, could we ask them to?
Because
They got enough shit to figure out.
we came together with 5 different ideas about how they could help us, and the top one was the concert, but there were all these other ones that we thought would be acceptable. They said they would be willing to tweet for us, you know, those things that are really easy to do.
Could we
Yeah.
use the tweet for the winter appeal campaign or give big? And since we didn't do the tweet campaign that they were on board with for fall.
Well, I can check with Al,
Yeah.
and what I may do is just say, hey, can I be the contact?
Yeah.
Because he is really nervous about asking for too much, and,
Right.
you know,
Or
I don't have that
Right. Or just,
problem at all.
or
Yeah.
or even if you just want to say, can our staff? We have good staff on board now. Can our staff handle it? They'll handle it with care. Blah,
But he probably won't let you, but he might let Vicky.
Okay. Well, whichever.
Yeah, so
Right.
I'll check with them and see, but
Yeah.
that, if we could get that happening next fall,
It's
that
so
would be
great.
awesome. Okay, so that is it for the agenda, so I need a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Andrew.
Okay,
You
well,
second?
I'll second it.
Not that I want
Andy
to.
seconds, okay. All those in favor say aye. Okay, we'll give our lovely guests a couple minutes to depart.
Get out.